Hi y'all, I hope you're all doing as well as can be today. So today I thought I'd talk about some coping tips for a flare.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
So first off, a flare-up, for those that don't know, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video you know what it is, but a flare-up is basically an exacerbation of symptoms. So for example, if one day I'm able to get out of bed, but then the next I'm not, that means that day that I'm not able to get out of bed, I'm flared up. So there's different types of flare-ups depending on the illness that you have, but one thing that all flare-ups share in common, no matter what illness or disease you have, is that it's a worsening of your condition temporarily. Number one tip for flare-ups is support. Surround yourself with a good support system. This means make sure you have people in your life that you could trust and that you feel free and comfortable with talking to about how you feel, and you don't feel like you're complaining or you're bothering them by opening up to them. Generally, people might get a feeling if they're sick that they're a burden, but you are not a burden. I promise you, you are not a burden. Your loved ones and your friends want to hear from you. So make sure that you surround yourself with as much support as possible, even if that means they're just on your phone and you could text them whenever you want. That's really, really important. I understand that a lot of people with chronic illnesses like myself, we're not able to get out much. So that's even more reason to have a good support system, because we don't want to go crazy. We need to make sure that we have people we can reach out to, and also people that will reach out to us when we're not feeling well enough to reach out to anyone. Now, this is really about quality more than quantity. So if you only have one or two friends that you can count on, or that you feel comfortable enough with talking about how you feel with, that's perfectly fine. As long as they're there for you and you trust them, that's what matters. So don't feel bad if you don't have 100 friends. It's totally fine. Just have, like I said, one or two people that you're always comfortable with reaching out to, and especially those people who are more familiar with your illness. That's really important. People who understand what you're going through. A good support system can make the difference between thriving and surviving and declining. So that brings me to my number two tip for flare-ups, which is asking for help. Asking for help can be honestly quite hard. If you're somebody like me who's stubborn and independent, then you probably don't want to ask for help. Now that's okay, but just keep in mind that when you're sick, there are going to be times that you need to ask for help. And especially when you're flared up, you need to be able to reach out to those people in your support group, no matter whether it's for, I need you to bring me some food, or even if it's just asking for some prayers. We all get by with a little help from our friends, so don't feel bad to ask for help. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. My number three tip for flare-ups is self-care. Now this is very important because first off, self-care is important no matter what, whether you're flared up or not. But when you're flared up, it's extra crucial that you take really good care of yourself. Now, self-care looks different for everybody, so I'm just going to give some examples of what self-care looks like for me. Keep in mind that self-care for me may not be self-care for you. It really depends on your illness, your preferences in general. So for me, self-care is basically eating right, number one. Eating the foods that I am not allergic to and that don't flare me up further. So basically avoiding sugar, especially refined sugars, allergens, and things that are generally bad for one's health, especially during flare-ups. So that's a big thing with self-care, but also rest. Rest is huge. I can't stress this enough. No matter what you have, no matter what you're fighting, you're gonna need a lot of rest. Take really good care of yourself and go easy on yourself. So even when you're awake and you're not resting, just don't push yourself too hard. Make sure that you know your limits and that you don't feel bad and get down on yourself if you're not able to do something one day, even if you were able to do it the day before. That's okay. So yeah, eating well, getting plenty of rest, and taking care of myself as best as I can is my number 3 tip. Also, keep in mind, with that being said, if you are really flared up and really sick and you're unable to take care of yourself, like I said, do not get down on yourself. That's okay. We all have days where we're not able to do as much and we're not able to be very productive. Even healthy people have those days, so please don't get down on yourself. It's okay. You're doing the best you can, and that's what matters. So, number 4, even though I mentioned this in my number 3 with self-care, sleep. I'm going to stress that again, even though I said it for my self-care. Sleep is so important. Even healthy people need plenty of sleep. Healthy people need about 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. So therefore, if you're sick, you're going to need more. And if you're flared up, guess what? You're going to need even more sleep. This could be really annoying and feel like a task, but this is something your body absolutely needs in order to properly fight whatever it's fighting. If you can, try to get a sleep schedule, which will really help you and your body to know when it's time to fall asleep and when it's time to wake up. I know this could be hard because a lot of people, including myself, who have chronic illnesses have insomnia, but I found that a sleep schedule does help a little bit. So if you can, just try to go to sleep around the same time every night and wake up around the same time every day. Of course, it's not possible to do this every single day with commitments and things that we have to do, but just try as much as you can to get as much sleep as you can. Number 5, gonna be repetitive here, eating well. Yes, that's what self-care looks like for me, but it might not look like that for you. But either way, you have to make sure you're eating healthy if you're fighting a flare-up. Now for me, eating healthy is, like I said, avoiding allergens, avoiding sugar, and eating vegan. I feel my best when I eat vegan, and it's been years now that I've been vegan, but I found that the healthier I eat, the better I feel. So vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy, but whole food vegan is healthy. And what's healthy for me isn't healthy for you necessarily, but I think one thing that we all can agree on is that sugar is not good. Eating in excess is not good. Junk food, processed foods, these foods are not good for your body. So try your best to avoid these foods, at least while you're fighting a flare-up. I think I'm at number 6. Number 6 is water. Drink lots and lots of water, especially if you have pots, but even if you don't have pots, water is very, very important. Don't ever underestimate the amount of water you need to drink. Drinking water can help so much. A lot of the times when I'm feeling extra bad with a bad headache or whatever it may be, it's because I'm extra dehydrated. So make sure you get in plenty of water. Number 7, staying distracted. This could be hard when you're feeling really bad, and if all you want to do is sleep, that's perfectly fine. But if you are awake and you have energy to, try to distract yourself as much as possible, especially when you're feeling bad and you're in a lot of pain. That's when it's more important to distract yourself. And yes, that's when it's probably going to be the hardest to distract yourself. Some ways I like to be distracted is gratitude journaling. I like to keep a gratitude journal, and I write in it almost every day or as often as I can about things that I'm grateful for. Often it's very repetitive, like I'm always thankful for my vision, I'm always thankful for food and for the roof over my head. I'm always thankful for my IV fluids and for my family and friends. But also, I generally have some new things here and there, about my day, like what was good about today that wasn't necessarily good about yesterday, or what am I grateful for today that I wasn't grateful for yesterday. There's always something to be grateful for. You can turn it into a challenge and challenge yourself to be grateful for at least 3 things every day, and then work up to 5, and then up to 10, and even up to 20 or more if you want. Staying focused on the things that make us happy and the things that we're grateful for really helps us to keep things in perspective. It helps us to realize that even though things are going wrong, there's always things that are going right. I also like to color and to paint. I like to write. I like to read. I like to write and read poems. I like to do crossword books. I like to watch TV and Netflix sometimes. So number 8 is uplifting and relaxing sounds. So what I mean by uplifting and relaxing sounds is, of course, music. Listen to your favorite music when you're flared up, because music does wonders on our brains. It's basically been proven to be just as effective as meditation. So be sure to listen to your favorite music. Even if you feel like you don't want to, you might be surprised when you turn on your favorite song and you're gonna be totally changed. Listening to good music always puts me in a good mood. I especially like to listen to music that's really encouraging. I'm not always in the mood to listen to music, especially when I have a really bad headache. And in times like that, I'll either listen to more relaxing and soft music, or meditative sounds or music, or ASMR. ASMR actually helps me to sleep when I'm having trouble sleeping. I listen to it almost every night, even when I'm not in a flare. So number 9 is journaling. I mentioned gratitude journaling earlier. But gratitude journaling is not the only type of journaling. You could keep a dream journal. You could keep just a regular journal about how you're feeling. Also, here's a good tip for flare-ups: a journal on your symptoms. A symptom journal is a good way to keep track of flare-ups and figure out what's causing them. Sometimes it's something that you may not have even realized, like a food that's triggering your flare-ups, maybe an activity, a place. It could be anything. Keep a journal, and that could really help with your symptoms and keeping track of your flare-ups, and therefore it might lead to better symptom management and flare-up management. Last but not least, I think this is number 10, my last tip for flare-ups. This one's pretty obvious. Make sure to stay in touch with all of your doctors and your care team. So this includes nurses, anyone who's on your team that knows your case. Make sure you let them know when you're flared up, and make sure that you are getting your regular visits and keeping track of everything you need to be keeping track of. Bloods, organs, all of that stuff. Especially for people with more serious illnesses, this is very important to make sure that you don't miss a visit, and especially now during coronavirus, I know a lot of patients have missed their important visits, but be sure you're at least keeping touch with your doctor on the phone or email or even FaceTime. I know some patients FaceTime with their doctors. So it's very important for them to be in the know, and you never know, maybe they have a suggestion that you haven't thought of, or maybe you need to try a new medicine or go up on your medicine. Sometimes our medicines stop working after a long period of time, but then if we go up, they start working again. So these are all things to talk about with your doctor and your care team, and hopefully you guys can come up with a plan to better control your flare-ups, or at least to manage them and get through them. Okay guys, I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you guys could use some of these tips. If you guys use any of these tips, let me know how they work for you. And if you have any of your own tips for flare-ups, I would love to hear them, so just write them down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to see more videos like this and to follow me on my chronic illness journey. Also, if you already subscribed, please make sure to hit the bell so you get notifications on when I post new videos. Alright guys, take care.